Okay, tonight's homework is on page 263, and you're going to be doing questions 23, 25, 26, and 28. So page 263, numbers 23, 25, 26, and 28. This is the same thing you did last night for homework. The only thing that's different is kind of just put in word problem form for tonight's homework. So let's go ahead and look at number 23 together. It says, Cindy added 7/8 cup of water to 1/4 cup of juice concentrate. How much juice did Cindy make? Okay, so she had 7/8 of water, and she added it to 1/4 cup of juice. Okay, so it's the same thing we've been working on in class. Okay, first thing we have to look at, are my denominators the same? In this case, they are not. So when they are not the same, I need to make them the same. And I do that by finding the LCM. Okay, so over here on the side, I'm going to find the LCM of 8 and 4. And remember, when you find a multiple, it's the answer to a multiplication problem. So I ask myself, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2, 16. And I'm going to stop there to see if I can get my force to run into that before I go any farther. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? I have my match here. My least common multiple is 8. Okay? So that is going to be my new denominator. So my new denominator will be 8. Okay? So, next thing I have to ask myself, 8 times what gives me 8? Okay, in this case, 8 times 1 equals 8. And the most important part is, whatever I multiply the denominator by, the bottom number, I have to multiply the numerator, or the top number, by that same number. So I also have to multiply my 7 times 1. And that gives me 7/8. Okay, same fraction. Okay, down here I'm going to do the same thing. 4 times what gives me 8? Okay, I know 4 times 2 will give me 8. And whatever I do the denominator, I have to do the numerator. So 1 times 2 equals 2. Okay? Now when I add 7 plus 2, that is 9. And my denominator always stays the same. Remember, we never add our denominators. Once they're the same, they stay the same. We would never say 8 plus 8 is 16. Since they're the same, they are the same in our answer. So the answer is 9/8. Now, this is a little different. We worked on this today in class. We have a improper fraction here, meaning my numerator is bigger than my denominator. So we can turn that into a mixed number, just like we were doing today in class. The best way for me to remember is I always just imagine this 9, in this case, the 9 kind of just falls over here on its side. So then I have my division problem. So remember, my 9 was up here, it falls down, and it lands in there. So that's what helps me remember which one goes inside. So then I have this division problem. I like to go ahead and put my fraction bar in before I start. I ask myself, how many times can 8 go into 9? I know that can happen 1 time, so that's my whole number. I do my division. 1 times 8 is 8. And I subtract. 9 take away 8 is 1. This 1 becomes my numerator. So this comes up here. And just like with everything else we've been doing, our denominator stays the same. So our denominator is 8 here, so it's going to be 8 here. So my answer is 1 and 1/8. That means I have one whole, and then I have 1/8 of another whole. Okay? That's number 23. Let's look at number 25. Mr. Perez is building a fence. He wants to bolt together 2 boards. One is 3/4 inches thick and the other is 7/8 inches thick. What will be the total thickness of the 2 boards? So again, we're doing the same thing. He has 2 boards, and he's going to add them together to see his total thickness of the 2 boards together. So I have 3/4 and 7/8. Okay, first thing I look for, my denominators are the same. They are not the same. Okay, in this case, they're the same denominators we had in our last problem. So I do 8 and 4. I'm going to find my, again, we just did this on our last problem. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. I'll stop there. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. I can stop because 8 is my least common multiple. Okay? So that is my new denominator. Okay, I ask myself, 4 times what gives me 8? In this case, 4 times 2 gives me 8. So again, remember, whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. So 3 times 2 is 6. Same thing down here, 8 times 1 is 8. So whatever I multiply the denominator by, I must multiply the numerator by. 7 times 1 is 7. When I add 6 plus 7, that gives me 13. And I have 13/8. So again, we are left with an improper fraction. Again, meaning that my numerator is larger than my denominator. So in that case, we are going to change it into a mixed number. Okay, and to do that, remember, if we imagine, the 13 kind of just falls over here. So now my division problem looks like this. Okay, again, I like to go ahead and put my fraction bar in before I even start. 8 goes into 13 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. Okay, 13 take away 8 is 5. Okay, that becomes my numerator. And again, my denominator never changes. It's going to be 8. Okay, so my answer now is 1 5/8. Okay? So it's basically the same thing we were doing last night, except today it's kind of embedded in the word problems. And also we are changing our improper fractions into mixed numbers. Okay, mixed number meaning I have a whole number and then I have part of a whole. Okay, so that's what that represents, one whole and then 5/8 of another whole. And that is tonight's homework. Again, we're doing 23, which we did together, and 25, which we did together. You need to do 26 and 28 on your own. And again, make sure you have all the work shown for 23 and 25 as well. Okay?